You beautiful people. It is one of the prettiest days that we have seen in weeks, if not months. Spring is around the corner. We can feel it. The sun is coming up earlier and going down later, and the direction it's coming from is noticeably changed. It just feels good. It's been a while since I've been in the air, so you haven't seen many flying videos from me. My apologies. There's something about winter, it makes flying a little more difficult because the weather's not as partly. We worry about getting into clouds that have potential for ice in the winter, not so much in the summer at the altitudes that I fly. But we don't take any chances, or we don't take any high risk chances anyway. So currently looks like I'm passing over Gatlinburg. If I can turn this thing around, might be able to see a white spot over there. I believe that is over Gatlinburg. And over there is Pigeon Forge. And over there is Gatlinburg. I did something that I had never done before today. I got to fly in a SuperCub. If you know anything about bush flying, you probably know that the SuperCub is kind of the iconic bush airplane made by Piper for many years. Now being made, a copy of it is being made by Cub Crafters out of Washington, I believe. Just a great old design. He took a little J3 Cub that originally came to 65 horse, beefed it up over the years, ended up with 180 horse in some of them. You can imagine what kind of performance it has, power versus weight. You can operate them out of 400 feet pretty comfortably. As a comparison, I would not fly my Baron out of anything less than about 2,500 feet. So it's an entirely different kind of flying. It's a tail wheel airplane, meaning there's not a wheel below the nose, there's a wheel below the tail. And so when you're on the ground, the propeller points up in the air a little bit. That has some advantages. In bush flying, you want to be able to fly into and out of airstrips that are minimally maintained, meaning not necessarily mowed in the summer, not necessarily graded at any point, maybe landing on snow, maybe landing on glaciers, maybe landing on sandbars in a river. That's a pretty fun thing to watch. It's not something that I've done. So in my flying, I started out flying in '93, and I owned my first airplane that I ever flew as my own airplane. Bought it in 2007. It's a Mooney. Moonies are very good airplanes for going from point A to point B. And then we got the Baron, which could carry more people faster and still go very well from point A to point B. They are cross-country airplanes. They're really good for cross-country. If I want to go to Colorado, it's really not that hard to go in the Baron. It's not even that hard to go in the Mooney. It's a one-day trip or less. To get to Colorado, I made it as far as California in one day in the Baron. So in a bush plane, you don't do that. In a bush plane, you're going a little bit faster than traffic. I think we were doing 90 knots, actually probably 90 miles an hour today in the SuperCub. But you get to land in some cool places. We landed in on a grass strip today. Hung out with the guys that base there. Had some nice hangar flying, as they call it. Sitting around talking about flying. It's the next best thing to flying. But to get back to what I started to talk about, I started flying a long time ago, and from the time I started flying to the time I owned a plane, I was always flying other people's airplanes. And when you're flying other people's airplanes, Well, I mean, it's certainly fun, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But you don't take other people's airplanes into grass strips very often. So I didn't get to do a lot of kind of flying that I wanted to do, which was going into grass strips, going into what they call unimproved strips. And while it's kind of fun, I want to get into real fun flying. Mostly, well, partly for me, partly because I've always wanted to. And I started out wanting to be a bush pilot. And partly because I've come to realize that my little girls don't really get excited about flying. And part of the reason for that is the only reason we use airplanes is to make travel faster and easier. They don't have anything to compare it to. We've not taken very many long car rides. I mean, 3 or 4 hours is about the most. And so they really have the idea that we can get to Florida in 2.5 hours. It just doesn't mean much to them. But jumping into SuperCub, being able to land at the house and our farm, kind of thing, I have a feeling that will be a little bit more appealing to them. So, anyway, excuse me, I had to sneeze there. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. We'll see what comes of it. If you have interest in buying the Mooney, I'm probably going to pull the engine off, have it overhauled here in the next couple of months. Once it gets done, it'll be a fresh engine, and I would love to sell it. And I'd love to sell it for about what I want to spend on a Super Cub. So if you have a Super Cub, we can talk about trading. If you don't have a Super Cub, we can talk about moving some money around, and maybe I go buy one. Anyhow, that's the current thoughts. Hope y'all are having a wonderful day, and we'll do this again. We'll do this again later. Take care.